One of the most significant risks that INFJs face is burnout. Burnout in INFJs can manifest in several ways. 1. Increased sensitivity to stress. INFJs, naturally sensitive to their surroundings and emotions, may find that even small stressors, which they typically handle well, become overwhelming. Everyday tasks or conversations that once seemed manageable might suddenly trigger feelings of anxiety or frustration. They may react disproportionately to situations, feeling like they can't handle even the smallest challenges. 2. Sense of emotional numbness. INFJs are typically emotionally attuned, but burnout can lead to emotional numbness. They may feel detached from their emotions or struggle to connect with others on an emotional level. The things that once moved them, whether it's a movie, a meaningful conversation, or a work project, may no longer evoke any response. This detachment can feel like a disconnect from their true self. 3. Physical ailments and fatigue. While emotional exhaustion is often at the forefront of INFJ burnout, it can quickly manifest physically as well. Chronic fatigue, headaches, muscle tension, stomach issues, and even changes in appetite or sleep patterns are common symptoms. These physical signs occur because their mental and emotional strain starts to take a toll on their body. 4. Decreased productivity and motivation. INFJs, driven by purpose and passion, might notice that they begin to lose interest in projects or goals that once brought them fulfillment. Tasks may feel insurmountable, even those they were previously passionate about. This lack of motivation can feel crushing, especially when they start to feel like they are letting themselves or others down. They may procrastinate, avoid tasks, or find it hard to complete even simple daily routines. 5. Chronic overthinking and rumination. As burnout sets in, INFJs often spiral into overthinking and rumination. They may replay conversations or situations in their minds, questioning their actions and second-guessing their decisions. They might obsess over things they've said or done, or worry excessively about things that could go wrong in the future, often to the point where it interferes with their ability to focus on the present moment. 6. Feelings of helplessness and hopelessness. INFJs might start to feel trapped by their circumstances, as though they're stuck in a cycle of giving without receiving or being unable to make a meaningful impact. This sense of hopelessness can lead them to believe that no matter what they do, they won't be able to escape the burnout or improve their situation. They may feel like their efforts are futile and their contributions are unrecognized or ineffective. 7. Irritability and short temper. Although INFJs are known for their calm and composed nature, burnout can cause them to become more easily irritated or frustrated. They may lash out over small annoyances, even with people they care about. Their emotional reserves are so depleted that they have little patience left for others, and their reactions can seem out of character for the typically gentle INFJ. 8. Social withdrawal and isolation. INFJs are deeply social beings in their own way, but burnout can cause them to withdraw from social interactions. They may start to avoid gatherings, cancel plans, or find it difficult to engage in conversations. Even though INFJs are usually empathetic and enjoy deep, meaningful connections, the emotional drain of constant socializing becomes overwhelming, causing them to pull away to preserve their energy. 9. Loss of sense of purpose or direction. One of the most disorienting aspects of INFJ burnout is the sense of losing one's purpose. INFJs are driven by a deep, internal mission, but when they experience burnout, this sense of purpose can seem distant or irrelevant. They might question the value of their work, feel disconnected from their core values, and wonder if their efforts even matter anymore. This existential crisis can be particularly challenging for INFJs, as their identity is often tied to their ability to live out their vision of making a difference in the world. Are you an INFJ who is feeling lost and out of alignment with your true purpose? The INFJ Purpose Compass will help you find clarity, harness your gifts, and align you with your purpose. Click the link in the description of this video to get access now. For INFJs, recovery from burnout is a delicate process that requires both emotional and practical strategies. The first step in the healing process is to acknowledge the burnout. INFJs are naturally inclined to push through their challenges, believing that they can overcome anything if they just work harder. But this mindset is precisely what leads to burnout in the first place. INFJs must learn to slow down and be kind to themselves. It's essential for them to recognize that they don't need to keep giving and giving without receiving in return. Self-compassion becomes crucial during this time, recognizing that they are human, not invincible. INFJs must also find ways to restore their emotional energy. This means intentionally seeking out experiences that nourish them, whether that be through creative outlets, solitary reflection, or spending time with a few close friends who can offer them the emotional safety and support they need. INFJs often need time alone to recharge, but the key here is not to isolate themselves completely. They must be intentional about balancing time spent with others and time spent in solitude. They might find solace in reconnecting with nature, journaling, or exploring their inner world through meditation or spiritual practices. Boundaries are another important aspect of recovery. INFJs often struggle with saying no, driven by their desire to help others. However, learning to set healthy boundaries is crucial in preventing burnout. This might mean turning down projects that feel draining or setting limits in relationships that demand too much emotional labor. They must realize that taking care of themselves first is not selfish. It's necessary for them to continue being able to help others in the long run. INFJs must understand that they cannot pour from an empty cup. Also, INFJs need to reconnect with their sense of purpose. During burnout, their mission may feel distant or unclear, but by revisiting what initially inspired them, INFJs can reignite the passion that drives them. They should take time to reflect on their values, remember why they started their projects or life missions, and explore new ways to align their work with their inner truth. This can involve realigning their goals, breaking down large tasks into more manageable steps, or even letting go of certain expectations or commitments that no longer serve their well-being. Support from other people is also essential. INFJs are often hesitant to ask for help, as they feel that they should be the ones supporting others. However, this could be a major obstacle in their recovery from burnout. It's important for INFJs to lean on those who understand them and can provide emotional nourishment. This might mean confiding in a trusted friend, seeking professional counseling, or joining a community that shares their values and mission. INFJs need to recognize that it's okay to be vulnerable and that seeking help is not a sign of weakness. Recovering from burnout is a process that takes time and effort, but for INFJs, it's not only about restoring their energy, it's about rediscovering their love for life, their mission, and their unique gifts. By prioritizing their well-being, setting boundaries, reconnecting with their purpose, and seeking the support they need, INFJs can emerge from burnout stronger and more resilient, ready to continue making a positive impact on the world. Another essential aspect of recovery for INFJs is cultivating patience with themselves. They often have high standards and a deep desire to achieve their vision of what their life should look like. However, these expectations can become a source of frustration when reality doesn't align with their ideal. INFJs must learn that healing takes time, and they don't have to rush the process. Progress may come in small, incremental steps, and that's perfectly okay. It's important for them to embrace the idea that recovery doesn't mean returning to their old state of being, but rather evolving into a more balanced and self-aware version of themselves. INFJs may also benefit from revisiting their core values and redefining what success means to them. Often, burnout occurs because they've been working toward external goals or societal definitions of success that don't align with their true essence. When INFJs find themselves feeling disconnected from their purpose, it can be helpful to take a step back and reassess their goals, not based on others' expectations but on their own deeper values. Perhaps it's less about achieving recognition and more about finding fulfillment in the journey itself. INFJs need to honor the fact that their success lies in the alignment of their inner world with their external actions, not in meeting arbitrary benchmarks set by others. At times, INFJs may feel the urge to dive back into their work immediately after experiencing burnout, believing that getting back to it is the only way to regain a sense of control or purpose. However, it's essential for them to allow themselves to truly rest and recover before diving back in. This doesn't just mean taking time off, but also giving themselves the permission to let go of the guilt that often accompanies rest. INFJs can struggle with feelings of inadequacy when they are not producing or doing something constantly. Letting go of the guilt associated with rest and embracing the fact that they deserve it is an important part of the healing process. Another powerful tool for recovery is engaging in mindfulness practices, such as meditation or yoga. INFJs are naturally introspective and deep thinkers, but sometimes their thoughts can become overwhelming, leading to stress and burnout. Mindfulness practices can help INFJs reconnect with the present moment, grounding them in their bodies and helping them step away from the spiraling thoughts that often contribute to their emotional exhaustion. Mindfulness allows INFJs to acknowledge their emotions without becoming consumed by them, offering them a way to pause, reflect, and regain clarity. INFJs are often highly idealistic and sensitive to the emotional states of others. While this trait allows them to be compassionate and understanding, it can also leave them vulnerable to absorbing the energy of those around them, especially in high-stress environments. To protect themselves from further burnout, INFJs must learn to differentiate their emotional state from the emotions of others. This means creating emotional boundaries, recognizing when they're taking on other people's feelings, and practicing techniques for emotional detachment. By doing so, they can conserve their energy for themselves and those who truly need their support, rather than draining themselves on every person they encounter. INFJs can also benefit from pursuing creative outlets that allow them to express themselves without pressure or expectation. Whether it's painting, writing, playing an instrument, or engaging in some other form of creative expression, these activities can provide a vital release for INFJs, offering them a chance to connect with their inner selves and restore their sense of balance. INFJs tend to be highly creative individuals, and channeling their emotions into art can be a cathartic way to process feelings that might otherwise remain unexpressed. Creativity allows them to release built-up tension and restore a sense of harmony within themselves. It's also worth noting that INFJs often feel deeply connected to their spiritual beliefs or higher purpose. During burnout, they may feel disconnected from this aspect of themselves, leading to a sense of existential crisis. Reconnecting with their spirituality, whether through prayer, meditation, or spending time in nature, can provide INFJs with the grounding they need to regain a sense of clarity and purpose. INFJs often draw strength from their spiritual beliefs, and nurturing this aspect of their lives during recovery can reignite their passion for their work and the world around them. The process of recovery for INFJs also includes learning how to manage expectations from others. They are often seen as the helper or the go-to person in their circles, which can place immense pressure on them. INFJs need to be comfortable with saying no or setting limits, even when those limits might disappoint others. They must learn that their worth is not dependent on how much they give to others. By protecting their own time and energy, INFJs can prevent the cycle of burnout from repeating and allow themselves to continue giving in a healthy and sustainable way. INFJs should embrace the idea of imperfection. They are often perfectionists, striving for the ideal in everything they do. But this constant pursuit of perfection can be a source of frustration and self-criticism. During recovery, INFJs need to let go of their unrealistic standards and accept that being human means making mistakes, experiencing setbacks, and sometimes failing. Embracing their imperfections not only frees them from the pressure to be perfect, but also allows them to approach life with greater compassion for themselves and others. The recovery process should focus on strengthening their ability to cope with future challenges. One critical aspect of this is cultivating emotional intelligence. INFJs, by nature, are deeply empathetic, which means they are naturally attuned to the emotions of others. However, emotional intelligence goes beyond simply understanding others. It involves managing one's own emotions, especially under stress. By increasing their emotional intelligence, INFJs can better navigate emotional turmoil, both in their personal lives and in their work, allowing them to recover more swiftly from difficult situations. Another important step in the recovery process is learning how to react to negative emotions with compassion rather than judgment. INFJs may have a tendency to internalize negative feelings, such as frustration or sadness, and see them as a reflection of their failure. However, They need to develop a more nurturing approach to their emotions, recognizing that feelings of frustration or sadness are a natural part of life, not signs of weakness. Instead of suppressing these emotions, INFJs can learn to acknowledge them and treat themselves with the same care and understanding they would offer a loved one. Another powerful tool for INFJs to embrace during their recovery is self-reflection. Given their introspective nature, INFJs are already prone to looking inward, but during burnout, this introspection can become more critical and harsh. The key to recovery is transforming this self-reflection into a productive practice that helps them heal rather than adding to their emotional burden. INFJs can benefit from journaling or engaging in deep self-reflection exercises that focus on what they have learned from the burnout experience, what they could have done differently, and how they can improve their self-care moving forward. This form of reflection should be gentle and forgiving, as INFJs need to avoid self-blame, which can prolong the healing process. Alongside self-reflection, INFJs can find healing in reconnecting with their creativity. Many INFJs have a strong creative side, whether it be through writing, art, music, or other forms of expression. During burnout, this creativity may be stifled by exhaustion or self-doubt, but reigniting this spark can be incredibly healing. Whether it's through creating something just for the sake of enjoyment or engaging in a hobby that has long been neglected, INFJs can tap into their inner creativity to rediscover joy and a sense of accomplishment. Creativity not only provides a way to express emotions, but also offers a sense of mastery and control, which can be deeply empowering during recovery. INFJs must also recognize the importance of building a balanced routine. When burnout strikes, their routines often fall apart, and they might struggle to maintain even basic tasks. Part of recovery involves creating a structure that includes regular breaks, healthy habits, and time for self-care. INFJs might resist rigid routines because they value flexibility and freedom, but having a predictable schedule can offer them a sense of stability and security. This might include setting boundaries around work hours, allowing time for exercise, eating nutritious meals, and ensuring they're getting enough sleep. A well-balanced routine helps INFJs avoid the extremes of overwork or underactivity, both of which can perpetuate burnout. Recovering from burnout also requires INFJs to develop a more realistic understanding of their capabilities and limits. INFJs are often driven by high ideals, and they may take on more than they can realistically handle. When they are overwhelmed, it's important to acknowledge that they don't have to solve every problem or meet every expectation placed upon them. Learning to delegate tasks, ask for help, and accept that not everything can be accomplished at once is vital in preventing burnout from recurring. INFJs must give themselves permission to step back when they need to, without guilt or shame. INFJs can also benefit from seeking professional guidance, especially when their burnout becomes more entrenched. A therapist or counselor can offer valuable support during the recovery process, providing tools for emotional regulation, stress management, and goal setting. Professional support can help INFJs identify any deeper emotional patterns that may be contributing to burnout and work through them in a safe and constructive environment. While INFJs are often deeply self-aware, they may still benefit from the perspective of an unbiased professional who can guide them through the complexities of burnout recovery. It's crucial for INFJs to remember that burnout recovery is not a quick fix. It's an ongoing process. As INFJs continue to heal, they should focus on building sustainable habits and practices that can support long-term well-being. This includes finding healthy ways to manage stress, such as engaging in physical exercise, practicing mindfulness, or seeking out supportive communities. By integrating these practices into their daily lives, INFJs can create a lifestyle that prioritizes their emotional health and protects them from future burnout.